Okay, now here we have a D16a6. Well, it's a D16a6 block, but it's going to run a P08 Z6 head, so it's going to be a mini-me. We start from the details from the ground up, including we balance the pistons within 0.1 of a gram. Yes, and then we install the ARP rod bolts, get it secure, and of course, stretch it as ARP suggests. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And of course, here we'll talk about details like we port match the intake manifold that we ported months ago for this head, and we get to port match it now because they installed it way back. And of course, the details like we drop in the crank, get all secure, and of course, your favorite, we install the pistons one by one. So let's go. Alright, we actually ordered this pistons a month or two before or ago, sorry, because the owner was planning to have this built by us. So now it's here, we got to balance it, and now here we're gonna after return or install the ARP rod bolts. As you can see here, we balanced it and it's all within 0.1 of a gram. As you can see it here closely. Yep, only number 4 is slightly heavier by 0.1, so that's already good in my book. Now here prepping it to install the ARP rod bolts, and you can see here half of it is already installed. So yep, now it's all clean and good. Of course, once we get to install all the ARP rod bolts, we pre-lube it. This way when you torque it or stretch it, it goes in properly. Now the block is ready. Yes, look, you can see the hone marks are pretty good. We decked it really good. Or actually had it resurfaced. This way the head gasket is gonna seal properly or superior. Yes, now we install the drag. We drop in the crank here, you can see after the main bearings, and now of course with the assembly lube now. As you can see the like button there. Yep, hit the like button because it helps spread the video to a wider audience. So thank you for that, guys. Yes. Okay, now we hand tight. First step is 18 feet-pounds torque. We're not gonna speed this up because it's gonna be really quick, you know. Plus, you know, the clicking sound is really addicting. All right. Some of it are still, you know, you gotta hand tight it properly earlier because some of them needs to move some more. But yep, now it's clicking good. The reason for the first step is this way it gets secured all equally before the final step, which is 38 feet-pounds torque. Okay, now here, last two. Yep, it's getting closer. Okay, it's almost done. Yep. All right. Now we'll go to step 2, which is, of course, 38 feet-pounds torque. It's still going to be fast. Yep. Actually, I'm not going to speed this up because it's, you know, it's not taking that long. There you go. Okay. And 4 more. This one's. And the last 2 over at the end. Okay, there. Okay. Now, wait, let's turn the crank. Let's see how it turns. Oh yeah, it turns really light. It's really good. You can actually hear the assembly loop, right? Yeah, well, also you can hear the kids playing around outside because, you know, it's almost Christmas and, you know, they're asking for carolings and all that. That's pretty cool. Okay, now we drop in the pistons. It's ready. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, let's prep this. Okay, let's go back to the workbench. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, now these are ready. All the rod bearings, the tie-hole bearings are installed. All the piston rings are lubed well. All right, let's go back to the block. Let's put assembly lube on the rod journals. This way, when we install it later, it just goes through and through. We speed this up because it takes a while. Okay, now we pre-lube the cylinder bores or the bores with the WD-40 or equivalent. This way it's lightly lubricated and not too much. This way the break-in process is just almost instant. No need for excessive break-ins. This is gonna seat the rings well. Okay, now install number 1. All right. And then as you notice here, every time we put the rod cap or the rod bolts, we lubricate with ARP assembly lube on the rod nut itself. This way, the stretch is gonna be you know, getting to the proper one. Because way back when the first time I was trying to do this or doing the stretch method, it would take me 2 to 3 times to relube the rod nut to get the desired stretch. Don't stretch it more than between 26 to 28 feet-pounds torque. If you don't get the necessary stretch, remove the bolt or the nut and relubricate it with assembly lube with ERP. And you'll see after 2 to 3 times, you'll get the necessary stretch. And now through practice, because I pre-lube the rod bolts before assembly, now it always takes just one shot for me. I get the desired stretch already. Here are the last one. Okay, let me show you. Let's put the stretch gauge. We zeroed it out, so let me show you. It's 0. When the rod bolt is loose back, you know, it's loose again. So you can see 0. Now we remove it, torque it to 28 feet-pounds torque. Double check. And here, let me show you. ERP suggests 50 to 55 stretch. And there, it's perfect. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, now it's well stretched. And now, of course, we do this to all the rest of the rod bolts. It takes a while. I mean, it's going to get boring on the video, so we didn't take a video of that. But you get the point, right? So now it's good. So let's turn the block once again. Let's turn it. Oh, yeah. You can hear the brand new piston rings scraping on the freshly honed bore. That really sounds good for me. I like that sound, yes. That means this, on the initial run up, the first few kilometers, it's gonna seat the rings really, really good. No need for excessive break-ins. Alright, now we wipe this off. Here, let me show you something here on this. Because this is a non-VTEC block, we remove that oil jet right there. Let me move the camera closer. You remove it because the oil jet is already on the VTEC head. This one, we remove it because on the non-VTEC, it has the oil jet on the block, but the VTEC head has the oil jet on the head. So if you don't remove that, you won't be hitting VTEC. That's no good, right? So now here, with that removed, we throw in the gasket with 3 bond. And then, of course, we drop in the ERP rod bolts. Of course, tighten it down snug via Allen wrench. It has to be hand tight, like really tight, so that this way the threads are loaded up. It doesn't pull the threads. Because if you don't hand tight it, or if it's not tight enough, it's not loading the threads, so it can easily pull it. So you gotta hand tight it. You go a little bit tighter, that's fine. But no need to torque, of course. Except for the ERP head nuts. Okay, now here, we hand tight all of it after we put the lubricated washers. Okay, first step, we go with 22 feet-pounds torque. And then the last one, we go to 56. You can go to 60 or 65 if you're not sure. You follow ERP's instruction, but this is all motor, so 55 or 56 feet-pounds torque is more than enough for us. So from 28, first step, and then 56. Can we speed this up because it's gonna get a little bit too boring. All right. Yes. Okay. All right. And then the last one. Okay, now on to the second step. Okay, unfortunately, I accidentally pressed time lapse on the 56 feet-pounds on the final step, but now here it's done. It's all good, all torqued up, and here's the B18C Type R block that we did. Yes, now it's all ready, right? Now this is actually gonna be, you know, used for autocrosses because he actually did use autocross. And here, look at this. Before we installed the head, we were doing this. We cut the intake gasket and matched it onto the intake manifold flange itself. This way, you can now bolt the intake gasket onto the intake itself on the intake flange to match what the head or the pattern from the head towards the intake manifold. You can port match this equally. And we actually made a video here. You can actually, this will be on the description below, so you guys can check how we port match it the way we do. And of course, if you need a little more of that, on the member section, we also have a video of actually how we cut the intake manifold as accurate as possible to the head that we're using. So you guys would want that, if you know, but the public video is already good enough. So if you want a little more, the member section, feel free to join, as it's definitely worth it, because a lot of the video, like for example on the dyno, we can't really delve into too much information because the video gets too boring for the overall public. But for those who are into tuning, the more detailed tuning session is on the members only. So I'll see you guys there. And now here my colleague does the finishing touches. After opening up the oil pump, we blueprinted it, and now he installed the new main seal. So now all even the backside, so that's gonna be leak free, and cleaned up the surface for the oil pan head gasket. Oh, oil pan gasket, sorry, the oil pickup. All right, and oil pan gasket's all cleaned up. Not head gasket, sorry. Seal it up good with 3-bond. Now the oil pan is next. All right. This one is tricky because if you over tighten, it's gonna start leaking. So you gotta do it properly. Now before setting the valve, before dropping in the cam, we put the brand new water pump, the tensioner. Now get the cam and the rocker arms. This way you can install the belt and then do the tappets. So we got the belt. We gotta put the belt on first. All right, there. Now you can do the valve tappets. This way, this is a turnkey motor. You can just start it once you get it, install it, and start up, and so you're good to go. Yes, now the engine is all finished up. And the story with this is that his previous block, he spun a rod bearing. And of course, we had to clean up the head thoroughly, including the VTEC solenoid and all so that there's no more debris and all that. So we had to build a new block for him. It's a D16a6, or in locally, it's an ESI. So of course, now it becomes a Mini-Me because it has a PO8 D16a6 head that they've already ported. And of course, the Skunk 2 single overhead intake manifold, this is what we ported a few months ago, and we got a video on that. And of course, we'll have a video of that at the end screen later. So if you guys want to check it out, you just can click it right there. So this is gonna be really fun now because it's gonna be mighty strong, and of course with better compression, because the previous one didn't have PM7 or P29 pistons. So this is gonna be even better, right? So this is gonna be fun because getting his experiences good in autocross. He's getting a lot better. So it's about time to get a stronger engine, right? So now maybe he'll go with cams later or next time, because this already has SuperTech valve tray. And for the Skunk 2 intake manifold porting, just click it here.